Michigan baseball coach, and last week was about closing out the non-conference before you begin conference play this weekend versus Nebraska. You went out to Kansas, a team you're very familiar with, but you said it was going to be a tough series, a tight-fought series that they came out barely on the top end of. Let's start off, Coach, with game one, where they were able to squeak out a one-run victory over you.
Yeah, the story of that game was the thing that has actually been a strength of ours, and so we kind of traded, and that was 2-out RBIs, and they had a couple of innings where they scored 2 in one inning and 3 in another, and they just got some clutch 2-out hits, and we unfortunately didn't get those 2-out hits throughout that game, and so it was one of those back and forth games, and we just came up one run short, but it wasn't a lack of effort by any means. It's just we didn't get the timely hit when we needed it.
Yeah, you mentioned this season you've had some balls hit pretty hard. Well, in that Friday game, Kendall Patrick, struck on a long one, and I guess it was his birthday that day.
Yeah, it was a nice birthday present. The guys were teasing him pretty good about that. But yeah, Kendall, he's 6'3" and 235, 240 pounds. He's just a large man, and when he gets a hold of a ball, it goes. And he actually got us watching the pitch that he hit on film, and it was, one of those pitches that's a good pitcher's pitch. It's down, it's away, and he smashed it over the center field fence. So he really got into that ball, and he's got that in his bat. At any time when he comes up to the plate, you know that he could leave the yard, and so that was a big hit, and that was a good birthday present.
All right, so then, Coach, you come back. You come back on Saturday, and it was a lower scoring affair. This time, you guys came up with the victory, 4-2, and some late inning heroics there in that contest.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where we were just coming up a little bit short, and we were down and down and down, and just couldn't quite get over the hump. And finally, we got a little bit of momentum from a gift from them. They made an error, which allowed a base runner. Before you know it, we've got multiple runners on base. Kendall Patrick gets an RBI base hit to tie the game, set the stage. We had runners at second and third, and a tie game in the eighth inning for Eric Jacobson, and he delivered with a 2-strike hit up the middle to score both runs, and once we got that, then Jacob Cronenworth was in the game to close it down, and we were able to seal that victory. So that was nice.
And Coach, how about before you got to Jacob, the combined pitching performance of two freshmen in that game, Ryan Newtoff and Oliver Jaski in that contest?
Yeah, Newtoff is a guy. He's a talented kid, and he's really working on just being very consistent mentally with his mental game and his breathing, and just being able to be out there and perform, and he certainly has. And where in the early part of the year, he might get a little bit rattled with a call that didn't go his way, or whatever. He has improved with each start, and he was able to give us a quality start, pitch over 6 innings, and we certainly needed that. And Jaski, he is significantly improved since he's been here. He was a kid that came in throwing, low 80s and a decent changeup, but we weren't really talking about his breaking ball. And now he's throwing upper 80s, touching 89, and he throws 2 different breaking balls, a cutter and a curveball, and the changeup, which has always been kind of his bread and butter pitch. So he's a little bit tough to face. When you see him out here at Ray Fisher Stadium, he's just got a little bit of deception to his delivery. It's tough for hitters to really get a good rhythm off of him, and he's been very successful, and he's going to continue to get opportunities for us.
Gotcha. We're talking to Michigan baseball coach Eric Bakich this morning here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. And, Coach, in the series finale, it was one of those games where it just seems like too big of a hole to dig out of in that contest.
Well, I was actually very pleased with the way we swung the bats on Sunday. I mean, we had one of our best offensive days but not from a result standpoint, but just from a quality at bat standpoint. I mean, we were hitting line drive lasers all over the field, and their left fielder, you give that guy credit should get a Gold Glove for that day. He made I think 2 or 3 leaping catches into the fence to take away extra bases. I think we hit a rocket like right at each one of the 7 defenders out there behind the pitcher, and just one of those days where everything we hit was right at somebody, and everything they hit found a hole. And we got down. You're right. We got down 6 runs in the first 3 innings. Fought back, but at the end, came away with an 8-4 defeat. But certainly wasn't anything to feel sorry about. It just a little bit unlucky on Sunday.
All right, so Coach, that concludes the non-conference. Now it's time for Big Ten play. You enter your interconference action with an 11-8 record, and you're going to take on Nebraska. Before we start breaking down Nebraska, kind of give me your progress chart, your growth chart. Where have you seen the team really grow? You talk about some individual players already, but where have you seen the team really grow? And then what are the things, and you kind of one of those broad questions again, like we talked about during the spring break trip. What are those things where you really are talking to your team like, look, guys, we really have to address this?
Yeah, sure. So we've got a lot of physical talent, and on paper, you look at our roster and you look at our statistics. I mean, we lead the Big Ten in hitting, and we're among the league leaders in pitching and defense. And so you look at that and say that record. If you play the woulda, coulda, shoulda game, then obviously we're looking pretty good. If you just line up the statistics, so really it's just about consistency and simplification with this group, and when we keep things very simple. And just go out and offensively, these guys are just going out there to have quality at bats and execute the approach. The pitchers are going out to make quality pitches and attack the strike zone. And you see that toughness that we talk about physically and mentally all the time. And you see that in their style of play. Then the results have been phenomenal. We've been limping around a little bit, and we got to get healthy. We've got a few too many injuries right now, which everybody has injuries in every single sport at all times. Mm-hmm. But we got to get healed up here, and we'll still have a few guys out going into this weekend. But once we kind of put it all together, we've seen flashes, and that was spring break. Spring break, everybody was healthy. The guys were keeping it very simple. They were going out there and playing the game and looked like they were really enjoying each other and enjoying playing and competing. And so I think we've seen moments where in weeks where we've had it going and firing on all cylinders, and then we've seen periods of inconsistency where we have let some leads go early in the season. We stumbled coming out of Oosterbaan in the early first 2 weeks with a drop 2 series in a row, stumbled out with a 2-5 record. Since that time, playing much better. This weekend, you can track that series with Kansas to a pitch here and a pitch there, and unfortunately we lost that series, but it wasn't. We played better, mm-hmm. And headed into Big Ten play. Everybody is 0-0. The good thing about I kind of gave the guys a little bit of a State of the Union yesterday, just now that we're headed into Big Ten play, and that is that the Big Ten in baseball is better than it's ever been. This is a banner year for Big Ten baseball, where you're going to have up to 5 teams that are going to be talked about as postseason contenders. So the opportunity in front of us to take care of business in Big Ten play and compete for a regular season championship, all of our postseason goals will be ahead of us and are up for grabs as long as we play well in conference play. And we got a great challenge, number 1 with Nebraska, but number 2 with just the entire Big Ten schedule. And
just to give people an idea of some of the bright, really, really bright spots for Michigan as you head into conference play. Coach, this, you lead the Big Ten in batting average with at a 302 clip. You got Jackson Glines leading the league in batting average individually at 475. Carmen Benedetti leads the Big Ten in RBIs with 21. Brett Adcock on the mound has a conference best 14 strikeouts looking. So you talk about the Big Ten being really, really good this year. You have some guys and some team numbers that really, really stack up very well in the conference as conference play gets underway.
Yeah, there's no question, and we've got a good team. I like our group. I like our leadership. I like our upperclassmen. I like the combination of experience plus talent plus toughness that we have, and these guys are going to get out there this weekend, and I think that they're going to have a certain confidence about them and an expectation that they're going out and going to really compete their butts off and look to get back on track here.
A few words, Coach, before we let you go about Nebraska. What do the Cornhuskers bring to the table?
Well, they're a very good program, as everybody knows, and they're coming off one of their best years in recent history. They played for a regional championship last year. They had over 41 wins, and they're very well coached. And they're just those kids that return from their team last year, which 2 of their 3 weekend starters return, and about half their lineup returns. So those kids have experienced that, and they played for a Big Ten championship last year in the Big Ten tournament. So they just got that experience factor over us in terms of just knowing what it feels like to be playing at the end of the year. And so from that standpoint, I think they're going to be a savvy group and very hungry. But from everything else, talent, intangibles, just players on the field, it's going to be a very good challenge, very good competition. We played very well down there 2 years ago. We won the series there 2 years ago. They won the series here last year, and they beat us in the Big Ten tournament to end our season last year. So we're very familiar with Nebraska and their style of play. They're going to play tough. They're going to play aggressive. They're going to do the little things, bunt and hit and run and play the game, and so are we. And it's going to line up the two teams, and it's going to be a good competition. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited for our guys to get to experience 6,000 people in their stadium. It's going to be a good crowd. It's going to be a good environment. It's going to be a fun college baseball weekend.
All right, well, Coach, certainly exciting to get Big Ten action underway. Team looks like it, has a real opportunity here in league play this year. So really looking forward to riding through it with you. Good luck against Nebraska this weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Hey, sounds great. Thanks, Sam.
All right, that was Michigan baseball coach Eric Bakich, and again,